tweeted the J6 public hearings. Panel seeks testimony from a dozen Republican members of Congress. How many will refuse to testify, thereby becoming members of the cover-up club? So the latest is Giuliani. Is it supposed to be today? So he's saying he's not going to show up because he made a demand that they record it. What's with people thinking they have the right to make demands when they are issued a subpoena?
Well, here's why they believe they can set the rules and set the terms. It's because we're not holding folks accountable when they do that, when they violate lawfully issued congressional subpoenas. Steph, we're on day 143 of the Mark Meadows indictment watch. And in case we've forgotten, we're also on the Peter Navarro indictment watch, the Dan Scavino indictment watch. Why wouldn't Rudy Giuliani feel like he can set the rules? Because when you violate lawfully issued congressional subpoenas, there are no consequences. So, of course, these people are going to feel emboldened if we let the rule of law lie dormant.
Yeah. You said, so Don Jr. testified again before a congressional committee. Recall last time he did that, the Senate Intel Committee referring to him DOJ for perjury. Of course, Bill Barr's DOJ was where criminal referrals of Trump associates went to die. Well, he did testify. I don't know what, is going to happen with that. But we've seen those texts, Glenn. He was right as a part of the planning of this coup.
Yeah, he testified for 2 hours, which is barely enough time to scratch the surface of any of the topics that I would want to ask Don Jr. about. I do think it qualifies as irony, Steph, that the J6 committee wants to ask Don Jr. about the texts he sent to Mark Meadows saying, please tell my daddy to call off the attack. Please tell my daddy to condemn the violence. This must stop. And yet just a few hours earlier, Don Jr. spoke at the pre-insurrection pep rally, told them you have to fight like hell, led chants of fight for Trump. And here's my favorite part. He said to the angry crowd, you have an opportunity to be a hero today by going down there and fighting. I don't know, call me crazy, but I think he was communicating to them that they should go down and fight to stop the steal today so they would be a hero. So he helped incite the insurrection, and then he's trying to contact Daddy through Mark Meadows saying, please tell him to stop. I think that qualifies as irony.
Yeah. Well, and let's turn to Georgia for a minute. You said Georgia special grand jury investigating Trump's election crimes and Lindsey Graham and Rudy's complicity. There's Rudy again. Also, here's why prosecutors should abandon the tradition of pausing criminal investigation in the months before an election. You said the quaint norm or tradition of pausing law enforcement investigations in the months leading up to an election is beyond outdated. Given that we have insurrectionists in Congress, it's downright dangerous to our democracy. Yeah, I mean, I keep saying we have to stop going for the Lady Byng Award if you're a hockey fan while they're, ripping our our throats out.
Yeah.
This is... And they don't respect it. Jim Comey, thought it was fine to get all blabby about Hillary Clinton right 11 days before the election, which pretty much every pollster said, on top of Russia, that was the last straw, right?
Yeah. Why would we abide by the quaint Norman tradition that we pause law enforcement investigations into criminal politicians when those criminal politicians are insurrectionists who are seeking re-election? So we're going to stop. We're going to give them a holiday from holding them accountable and give them an opportunity as insurrectionists to be reelected and continue to try to destroy our democracy. Call me crazy, but that quaint Norman tradition no longer makes any sense because we have Republicans, Steph, who are at least figuratively fighting with dirty bombs and hidden landmines, and the Dems are forever, reaching for their muskets.
Yeah. And by the way, it's not just an ongoing coup. I wouldn't even call it a slow-moving coup. It's moving pretty fast. If you look at state after state, secretaries of state that believe in the big lie, they're moving to put all those people in, as you say, and the insurrectionists in Congress back in so that they can accomplish in 24 what they couldn't in 2020. I mean, it's kind of the most obvious plot in the world, right?
It's a fast-moving coup, and it is unimpeded by the rule of law.
Real quick, maybe a glimmer of good news at the end here.
Glenn, I believe.
An agreement. Oh, man.
I don't know what happened.
Oh, This is important. An agreement between E. Jean Carroll and Trump's lawyers could possibly allow DNA samples of Trump to be analyzed against a stain on a piece of clothing that E. Jean Carroll still has that allegedly contains DNA from the day of the attack. She's suing him for defamation, claiming his denials of the alleged attack, in which he said she's not my type, had damaged her reputation and career. I will take any shred of justice I can get anywhere at this point.
I think we may have.
Okay,
Yep.
Glenn, you're back. I'm asking about the
All right.
E. Jean Carroll's lawsuit against Trump could allow for his DNA sample to match the one on her dress.
Yeah. Yeah, and he will be proved to be a liar and a sexual offender, 1,000 times over with that. And in the absence of the Department of Justice asserting the rule of law, it's up to private litigants and victims like E. Jean Carroll, and God bless her for having the strength and the determination to do this.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. We shouldn't be we're looking for scraps of justice at this point this week. We're just we'll take any scrap.
Glenn Kirschner's scraps of justice.
I mean, the inauguration thing got away with paying less than $1 million and no admission of wrongdoing for, grifting all the inauguration funds to the Trump hotel.
I did nothing wrong, and here is $750,000, and I promise never to do it again. Read between the lines.
Yeah, like Trump University and the Trump charity. You're just oh my God. This is, all right. Well, justice is, I don't know where it is, Glenn. Is it parallel parking? Where is it? Is it looking for a parking space? What's happening?
Justice is scrappy. It's fighting.
All right. Well, not the best of news, but always good news to see you.